Hello and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program, now in the version 0.23.5 with me, the Green Dragon. So I did not migrate over the previous save. We kind of lost that. I tossed the old game folder, downloaded the new one because they told me that the saves were broken, and then they eventually came out with a patch, I think, to allow saves to be, gotten, but by that point it was too late. So I've gone ahead and pre-played a bunch of this. Well, a little bit. I did a couple of missions, cut out the minimus, grabbed some science, so that we could have some basic parts, because I doubt you want to keep watching these few starting missions with every single thing we get. Every single career playthrough we do. So, we have gotten up to here with space exploration and electrics here, and we have gotten up to here with the heavier rocketry and the specialized control. Next we are gonna get the nuclear engines and some other crap, and this is the new mission, right? The one which has all the cool new parts and the asteroids. So I was thinking we would actually design a mission to the Jool system and do a massive flyby of every single planet out there. In order to do that, we're gonna want a probe for that. Right, we don't have a lot of structural pieces, unfortunately, which is gonna make this annoying, but we're just gonna have to make do. So, let's see. Actually, no, maybe not. Let's see, what do we have as far as structural stuff is concerned? So, we have these. How heavy are these? Not very, not very. How heavy are these? Not very, so there's not much point in making them separatable. Okay, good. In that case, we will make this pretty big, because, we have 5 planets in the Jool system, plus the system itself. Although, considering how big it ends up being, mayhap we want to do it slightly differently. That's a big-ass booster, right? Right? That's a max thrust. Does have vectoring. So it's a liquid booster with a... So it's an engine and fuel combined, right? Right? I think. Yeah, it is. Okay. So apparently we've already unlocked that. And that is what? Right, 3 point whatever. And it's actually better than the mainsail. So, but it has to have its power set above 10%, otherwise it flames the fuck out. Great. But okay, for the final stage, this is gonna be the stage that's gonna be doing the actual maneuvering inside the Jool system, right? So obviously it has to be a thing, which means that it has to be a thing and a thing and a thing. So let's do it like this. Give it a bit of battery, maybe a bit more. Nah, it doesn't really need it. We're gonna put some of these here and some of these on the sides to decrease the likelihood of it ever being angled in such a way that it doesn't really have any power. Because that would suck quite badly. So I'm thinking, actually we will want to take some measurements in deep space, so why don't we just make this one big, payload. Damn it. Kindly let me add the thing. Game, thank you. There we go. And it's added all wrong now. Wonderful. Right, it wants to add it in the wrong way. That's the wrong rotation. That's an even crappier rotation, but possibly not a bad one. Yeah, this is being derpy. How do we fix that? No, not by making it detachable, I think. Okay. So how about we do it like... Okay, here's an idea. We'll add 2 of these here, right? Add an engine under that. Right. They're starting to look like something. We might be onto something here. And then we want to add... what do we want to add? I think we want to add a foursome of these. Quite possibly. Or maybe more. Do we have any structural pieces for... not really, no. We don't have anything yet. So how about this? That's 4 of them. That should give me a 6 sum of them, which is... get more? Nah. Don't really want more. More sounds like a bad idea. And we'll place them low down, because that sounds like a good idea. Okay, that looks good. And... important question. How are we doing on the... okay, that's a good amount of delta V. Good. We're gonna be transmitting all of this back, so this is not gonna be a situation where we, you know, just go there and chillax and come back. No, none of this is getting recovered. See, so that's 3000 essentially. Which should be enough for maneuvering within the Joule system, hopefully. Because all we're gonna be doing is flybys, right? It should be okay. Theoretically. And no, we don't want any engines under those. What we do want is more fuel. 4 of these, in fact. No. Lets me add the fuel. Bastard. Lower down, then. Lets me add the... why the fuck not? Game, stop being such a douchebag. There. Now it does. There we go. And we want that fuel to flow directly into the engine, it seems. That seems quite fine. And it goeth inwards like this. Okay. So, make sure the engine ignites before. That gives us 5300, which makes it a strong enough thing to work with. Okay, good, that's a start. In which case, we want to add another set of these under it, possibly, so that we can make even better things happen. And send it even further. Yay, so. And of course, make sure the engine ignites before. That gives it a whole lot of power. Should be more than enough, right? So at this point we probably want to focus on making something else happen. Okay, that's fine so far, but let's add some RCS to this thing, because it might be a bit hard to actually make this whole thing go where we want it to. So, RCS it is, along with 4 thrusters for basic turning abilities. Put this slightly lower down, good. Looks good. So that's a probe. Good. That's a probe. That's the important bit. It looks definitely like a probe. So yeah, 1 for high in the Joule system, 1 for low in the Joule system. Actually, in order to make this work the way I want it to, I would like to have another one. So this will make it awfully long, I know, but kind of a thing. So put these here, move this back up here. There we go. This should be relatively okay. It should be nice and controllable. And yeah, I think that's a good thing. Now we need to make sure that this is all strapped together rather nicely. So another strut here and another strut here. This should be relatively good, hopefully. And then one more set of things, and here we're gonna add actual boosters, methinks. Don't know how long we want them to be yet, though probably just 1 stack with proper vectoring engines. Yeah, this is actually good enough to give us some sort of vectoring. This can be our last getting into orbit stage. It's fine for that. Looks good. Looks quite good. Okay, that's good. So far so good. That's about 1,000 meters per second, which will not be enough, obviously, to get us all the way up. But since we have unlocked mainsails, we'll probably be okay. Okay. Yeah, this looks good. Alright. Actually, something else we could add to make absolutely sure this thing is never out of power. Oh, we can't add that there. But we can add these like so, angling backwards. Ever so slightly. There we go. Okay, looks good. Can we add mainsails, though? I mean, I don't have the structural pieces to really make them fit, unfortunately. So maybe we don't even add them. Maybe we just do this ever so slightly differently. No? Probably not. Okay, fine. We'll do it the same way, possibly. Wish I had the... I mean, they should give me the structural pieces to make it look decent, because otherwise it's just stupid. But whatever. You know, whatever. Let's just get our thing built. So, yep, structural cap, sure. Give me a thing here, sure. These will have to fire together, obviously. We're gonna have to, of course, strut them together. That gives me 2,500. Strangely enough, I don't believe that 2,500 will be sufficient for orbit. You know, I somehow don't think it will be quite enough. Can't imagine why, but I have this nagging suspicion that it won't be. So, another set of outer boosters, perhaps. I think, with more high-powered engines. Right? So, like so. Like so. Caps on, of course. Because, yeah, we could use the mainsails, but I don't have the structural pieces for them, and that would look derpy. So, frack no. Okay, there we go. That's starting to look like not enough firepower, which we can easily fix by adding more firepower, I mean. There we go. So, that's 3.5. It's getting closer, not quite enough. Maybe if I took some weight off the top, it might make it, but I don't feel like taking any weight off. So, we're gonna add more boosters, because that's always the answer, right? Oh, we have these mega boosters, right? Which the Kerbal Engineer does not recognize as a thing. Shit. Okay, hopefully this should be enough. These should be more powerful than the Rockomax ones, and it should be good enough, theoretically. Theoretically. And what we will do is add some winglets to the bottom stage here, just to facilitate. Actually, no, why don't we add them here? It should still be below the center of mass. Yes, it is, so that makes it safe to add there, and the center of mass will drift upwards, actually, over time, I expect, so that will be fine. Yeah, this looks good. Now all we have to do is finish strutting it together, and we'll have our rocket. Yeah, these parts are derpy. Derpy. Much hate. But they'll have to do. Because we need the things. You know, I would prefer if the beautification elements were available from the start, just so that it would be, you know, actually easier to make the whole rocket, you know, aerodynamically pleasing looking, you know? Should be perfectly fine, nothing should be catching. Okay, the stages appear to be in order. We have some more instruments to add, because we do have the thermometer, which is worth very little unless we scrape the atmosphere, but we might as well put it in there. And that's about it. Okay, so no landings, not much of anything, no crew reports, no surface samples, just a big-ass flyby of the Julian system. So, that's a thing. And this should hopefully be more than enough to buy us the nuclear engines we so badly would like to get for future missions, and then we can try a banned Duna mission or something. So, let's launch this and hope for the best. Shall we? Shall we, shall we, shall we? Come on. And... okay, map. Just gonna enter time warp ever so slightly. Look at those asteroids. So, our angle is all wrong for Jool, but an appropriate window of opportunity should present itself soon enough. Let me set it as target. There we go. Now we just wait for a little bit, and it'll be fine. Vessel information. I'm gonna put it right there. So, here we have essentially 6,000 in the transfer and maneuver stages. Should be more than enough. I'm actually waited a bit longer than I should have. Okay, let's take a look at the map in close range. We want to go that way, so we're actually more or less at our launch window. Gonna wait a tiny bit more. There we go, we are in the darkness, and that is our cue. That is in fact our cue. So, engage, and let's launch this little probazoid. Oh, those are actually... okay, this should be fine, but I have to correct that little mishap, because those need to be properly aligned. And then we're gonna launch for Jool, right? Because why not? Okay, you bastards. Since I recovered the vehicle, it should be perfectly fine, right? With the time warp, we should still be in the appropriate position. Okay, and loadeth. There we go. Looks good. And let us ignite the engines. And we are on our way. And we are looking good. Looking good, good, good. Oh. These are actually draining a lot faster than they should be, but since I can slow down in order to stay at the appropriate speed, it might still be okay. These might still catch up. Otherwise I might end up carrying extra weight with me for a little bit. Which would be unfortunate, but hopefully fine-ish. Yeah. Lower that, lower that. This speed is about right for this altitude, so we're gonna stay at about 130. I think we can actually just ride on the SRBs for a little bit. Yeah, we can. Okay, nice. So, we're gonna wait until they get down to like 100, and then we are gonna up our oomph and watch it go, go, go. Okay, reignite the main engines. These have flamed out. Okay, they did not clip the bottom engines. Good. And we sort of have to start our turn, so let us slowly tip over towards 90 degrees and be ready for our... okay, fix it here until we ditch these, then continue your turn. Thank you, darling. And burn for orbit. Burn for orbit. Okay, looks good. 45 degrees should be about fine right now. We are a little low on the thrust weight, so we have to be careful with it. But all in all, this seems perfectly fine. Let us tip over further. Looks good. Our arc is... the time to apoapse is slowly starting to rise again. We want to keep it going. Let's just keep switching until we hit our craft once again. Yeah, we want this to stay more or less constant. So tip over some more. Keep it here. How's the fuel? Fuel is more or less okay. Good. Use the RCS to stabilize and detach. Good. We're looking good. Looking good. The probe looks to be on its way. What about the arc? Our time to apoapse is decreasing, but very slightly, so we're still good. Because I saw it tick down from, 41, and now it's going up again. We're gonna keep at this angle, more or less, 15 degrees up, because I do want to bring this arc upwards. Actually, we're gonna tip slightly upwards to 25 degrees, because I do want this to take us out of the atmosphere, this stage. And then we can finish our orbit with the last one, thus leaving no real trash in Kerbin orbit. Okay, that's looking good. We can keep tipping now, generally speaking. Okay, and we're gonna do it like this. And engine cut off any second now. Good. And now we're accelerating really slowly. This is the interplanetary stage. Also the very thing we are using for going places. Only the one engine though. Is it draining properly though? It looks like it is, so that's fine. We are running on RCS for the turning, but we have plenty of monopropellant, though it might have been wise to use the linear block so that we could actually... or, no, these are the linear ones, the proper thruster blocks, right? So that we could actually move forwards and backwards with this RCS, but you know what, it's fine, it doesn't matter. Also, let's roll over, which we're gonna have a tough time doing because of stuff. Okay, never mind. Sorry, probe, you don't have to roll, it's fine. So yeah, I can observe these safely, right? And then reset. Apparently I haven't really taken a atmospheric sample from this, but it doesn't matter because we don't care. And now it's essentially one big burn towards Jool. Ever so slowly. Which is fine. The engine vectoring on this should keep us stable enough, even if there is some sort of... never mind, apparently it sucks at correcting. Keep the RCS on then, it'll keep it stable enough. Even if we are using a little bit, it should be fine, and this appears to be building up our orbit rather nicely. We can wait a little bit and do this over 2 orbits, it's not a problem at all. We'll be fine, we'll get our hit, it won't be a problem, you can trust me on that. So this set of tanks will more or less take us to Jool, leaving the rest for actual maneuvers within the system. You know, thus leading to awesomeness. Alright, we'll try to go for Lythe first since it's the innermost one of the Jool's moons, and will probably just scrape its atmosphere at an altitude of say 25 kilometers, and that should slow us down to stay within the Jool system. Methinks. Yeah, we're gonna have to do this over 2 orbits, it seems. Cannot be held, but we'll make it into a higher orbit rather nicely with this. And the weight of the entire contraption will go down, so that is quite fine as well. Looking good so far. Much approve. Yes. So this is looking extremely nice. Let's actually cut it here and prepare our next maneuver. So let's see. This will take us out of the Kerbin's sphere of influence. And has Jool actually been unset as the target now? Because that is deeply uncool. I need my thing. Also, there we go. Descending now. Tiny amounts of degrees like that should not matter a great deal, and that's actually a really crappy encounter. Okay, in which case we actually want to move this so as to get a different angle here. That should be better, aiming us further in that direction, thus getting us a better one by far. A much better one. Jool perhaps. Yeah. It's gonna be a glancing blow though. So yeah, we'll be essentially behind it there. Come on, scroll in. And go that away. Now if we do a couple of orbits before actually encountering it, it should not be that big a deal. Okay, that's a goodish angle, though it requires more delta V. Never mind, we're gonna adjust it the other way then. Here we go. This was actually better. Fine game, fine. You have convinced me. I will accept this, and let's actually adjust that downwards. So so as long as we hit the sphere of influence, we should be fine. So, this seems good-ish. Good enough. That's a 15-minute burn, though. Ooh, not cool, game, not cool. I do not approve of this. Okay, but we're gonna warp to it, and we're gonna do the burn, and I'm actually gonna split the part here. So, how high is my perhaps? Okay, high enough. Anyway, yeah, I'm gonna split it here, and I'm gonna be back when we're getting closer to Jool, so I'll see you then.